Hello there. I thought it might be fun to show you a little bit of behind the scenes on how I record my show, Copy That Pops, my podcast. So I'm going to just take you behind the scenes, and this is the first take. I'm not going to redo it, and let's just go. I'm going to show you unedited. Okay. So I'm working on episode, what is this, 111, and I decided to do a solo episode. So you can see this on the screen here is what I call my episode list. And it's kind of like a content calendar where I map out what shows are coming up. So for me, the ones that are all done are this dark purple color. And the ones that are orange are ones that I have on the calendar. So actually, I should scroll up and show you for example, here are two guests who I have on the calendar booked out to do a recording, but I haven't recorded them yet. And right now is February 1st, 2018. So I have enough interviews already recorded through mid May, or even really through the end of May, because I work in solo shows too. So I am working way in advance. And so for my show that's coming up this coming Tuesday, I decided to do a solo show and push Jason and Sam to the following weeks. So I'm going to do a short solo show, and that's what I'm going to take you behind the scenes for fully officially. And I decided I'm going to call it The Psychology of Fake It Till You Make It for Writing and Public Speaking. So it's a quick tip. So my plan is to keep it under 10 minutes. All right, so let me show you here. So what I did earlier today is I sat down and I just kind of wrote out what I wanted to make the show about. And for me, since I'm comfortable in the writing space, I sometimes for my short episodes, I like to write it out or at least write out bullets before I record it, just so that I don't sound like I'm rambling, because sometimes I feel like I'm rambly if I don't have a clear path of where I'm going. And then for this one, I'm going to just kind of perform it. So I'm going to try to read it without it sounding like I'm reading it. And yeah, so it's like 2 pages kind of written out. Okay, so I thought I'd show you what I'm working with. So right here is my mic. I don't know if you can see that. Or I could just pull it up. I have a little light here to make the video look a little better, get some more light on my face. But I'm using an ATR 2100. Looks like this. It's like 60 or 70 bucks on Amazon, not too crazy. And it has a USB cord that's plugged into the computer. And then it has this headphone jack that's plugged into the mic. So when I listen back to it later, I'll be able to hear myself through here. I don't actually need them while I'm recording, but I just do it, I don't know, out of habit. So let's see. Sorry, this sounds weird. And okay, what I always record my show in is called Audacity. And this is a free program that you can download, whether you use Mac or Windows. It should work either way. So all my solo episodes, I use Audacity. For my interviews, I use Skype plus Ecamm call recorder to capture the audio of both the guest and me. And that Ecamm call recorder is $29.95 one-time purchase, and it's totally worth it. Okay, so what I usually do for solo shows is I get my little script over here, and then I have this on the side so I can see that it's recording, okay? And then I make sure it's pulling the correct mic, so it's pulling the ATR USB microphone. If it pulls this built-in microphone, then it's going to just pull in the speakers from my computer. It won't sound as good. And then sometimes, let's see here, just try to move this around so I can get my mic a little closer to my mouth. Let's see. Okay. Sometimes I go like this and look out of one eye. Okay, cool. Let's give it a try and let's see if I can do it without messing up while you're watching me. Okay, so I'm going to hit record. And it's often nice to let it run Actually, hold on. Let me stop it. Recording volume. Why won't it let me move that? Okay, so I played it back and I could hear it in my ear. I know you couldn't, but I'm going to get rid of that. But what I was going to say is that it's nice to leave a bit of a gap without saying anything, a little pause, so that you can perform a noise reduction edit to your audio once you're done. So I'm just going to be quiet for a second and then we'll start. Okay, today's episode is a quick tip, and we are going to talk about the psychology of fake it till you make it for writing and becoming an author specifically, and also public speaking. So for writing and public speaking. So some people fear, oops, I'll have to edit that. I've got my little, dang it, stupid thing. My little light is covering it. So I saw the word here, but I read it as fear. Okay. So some people hear the word fake, myself included, and instantly feel a gut reaction that that is a bad thing to be. It's a bad word. It's bad to do. And the last thing that I want to be seen as is a fake, a fraud, or a scammer. However, paradoxically, we become things by taking action. We cannot become unless we do. For example, if you're trying... For example, you become an author by writing, and you become a speaker by speaking. So I truly believe that if faking confidence until you build confidence works to get you to take action, then embrace it and go. As a personal example, I decided to speak about 10 days ago at the Ultimate Stage Experience put on by Tamara Thompson and Danielle Gomez of Serious Take Productions. And I haven't myself spoken on stage in a while, so I was feeling nervous and even admittedly had a little crying breakdown with my husband the Sunday before because I was feeling like I'm going to suck. I'm not ready. I'm going to embarrass myself. And all the overwhelm of trying to prepare just got to me and I started crying, breakdown. So no matter how great my photos are on Instagram, sometimes I hit brick walls too, like I'm sure you are, and I question my abilities. So if you've ever had that, you're not alone. But luckily, I do have a great and supportive husband, and he said to me, Laura, I know you're going to be awesome. And by the way that he said it, I knew it wasn't just a half-hearted platitude. So I asked him, how do you know that though? And he replied gently, because you put your whole heart and brain into everything that you do. So how could it not be good? You'll make sure of it. That external reinforcement was enough to get me back on track and feeling ready to take one step forward the next day, and then the next, and then the next, until Friday when I delivered my talk and actually had the entire room cracking up first and feeling inspired next. I told them my print your own shirt story that I shared with you on the podcast back in episode 108. And then after that, I told them about how I finally channeled my inner senior queen and printed my own shirt, which read best-selling published author, when I took massive action and wrote and self-published my first book at the end of 2016. That one action has led to so many more opportunities, increased clarity, and deeper confidence than I ever expected. Now, I'm telling you about this recent experience from 10 days ago because even though I was feeling nerves and stage fright, I decided to fake it till I made it. I know that the more speaking I do, the more comfortable I will be on stage and the better speaker. I know that the more speaking I do, the more comfortable I will be on stage and the better speaker I will become. But if I just sit in my office Googling tips on speaking and never actually doing it, until I feel, quote, 100% ready, I legitimately will never, ever get to my goal. Speaking of speaking, I am speaking again this coming weekend at Massive Success Breakthrough in San Diego. Shoot me an email if you're in the area and you want to come. I have a few free tickets left that I can get you. So you can email me at laura@copythatpops.com. And keep your eye out on my Instagram and Facebook accounts because I'll try to share behind the scenes footage where you can actually watch me in action, hopefully making it more than faking it. And I'm Laptop Laura on social media, by the way. Now for you. If you are like me and wanting to do more public speaking, well, go do more public speaking. It's the only way. Reach out to local high schools, colleges, a Rotary Club, or go to a Toastmasters and get practice with audiences who you don't feel are as intimidating to you than where you want to end up, say social media marketing world or Thrive or traffic and conversion, etc. And if you're still dreaming of writing a book and becoming an author, well, open up a Google Doc or grab a pen and paper and start writing. You can start with just brainstorming, idea dumping, journaling if you're not sure what your book is going to be about yet. But action begets action. Do to be. Instead of Think and Grow Rich, we could put write and grow into an author. And one last thing on my brain I wanted to share with you. If you are in the San Diego area, I myself have been journaling and thinking about putting on a 10-week hands-on workshop with only 10 people plus me, where we will meet in person and also digitally to make everyone in the group an Amazon bestselling author by the end of it. You'll get your message out, earn instant credibility, garner lots of media attention for your business, all of which will lead to more sales, all of which will lead to more traffic, sales, and confidence for even more. So if that piques your interest, please also send me an email to laura@copythatpops.com and let me know, and I'll send you more details. Okay, I'm like thinking for a second because I feel like I need to say one more closing line. But no matter what steps you want to take next in your business, just remember, sometimes it's completely okay to fake it until you make it. Okay, cool. So I just stopped my recording and it looks like it is about just under 8 minutes, which is good because there's a couple areas that I will cut out in editing. And then my VA is going to add a musical intro and a musical outro to either end. And then I've also got a little standard intro and standard outro that I'm using right now that talks about my book stuff. So one is a free training that people can opt into at copythatpops.com/training. And then also if people want to take my business book masterclass along with community, I don't know, my brain is like going fuzzy now. At least I got the recording out. Then you can go to copythatpops.com/bestseller. So I have little commentary on that my VA is just plugging in for each individual episode that looks like that. So what I actually personally do, just to give you guys a little more insight, so I do a couple of cleanup edits. So like actually this first part, I know it was just me like randomly talking. So I will just like, hold on, let me zoom out. So I remember this was just like me talking to you guys. So I'm going to delete that. And then, oh, see, actually I was like, remember how I kept starting to clap? I wanted a little spike in the audio. So now I know that right here is where I think I like messed up. So what I would do is I would just delete that. And then I would run a couple of cleanup things. So one thing I like to do is highlight that big space that we did and do a noise reduction. And the highlighted space, you hit get noise profile. So basically I'm telling Audacity that that portion, if there's any sound coming through, that stuff is just background noise. Then I highlight the entire thing and I do noise reduction again, but this time I click on OK. And those settings, you can pretty much just do whatever default it is, but that's what I've got in mind. And you just hit OK. And then it processes a bit and it'll just help reduce any background noise from your audio. Now I try to control my environment so it's not creating a lot of background noise. So that won't really do too much. But this next one will. So I like to run the compressor next. And you can also just test it out with the default, but that's what mine looks like. And you're going to see that the audio waves are going to get taller. Boom. So then let's see. There's other things that you can do, and it's really up to your preference. Another great thing is like equalizing, especially if you want to make your voice have more bass or less bass. I've kind of found that I don't really like it or care, so I usually just do compressor. And then the other thing that I like to do is down to limiter. Is it limiter? Let me see. Let's see if that's the right one. Yeah. So I put a hard limit at -2.8. So what you'll see is if you look at the audio here, see how like right here, it got really low, or in other spots, it'll go really high. Like I might've just had my head turned the right way. I might've said something like, oh, like, sorry if that's loud, just like really high, but we don't want to do that. If someone's listening in their car or listening with the earbuds, we don't want just randomly a loud noise to come into their ear that will like blow out their ear. So if we click on this, you'll watch and you'll see it just flatten. Anything that's above a certain limit, it'll just pull it in. So there won't be any more huge spikes. See how that little guy, he went, this guy right here, he went down. And I'm going to undo that. Okay, see? Oops, I undid too many. Hold on. Redo compressor. Okay, so this is what it is after compression. See the little like lines that are poking out? And then if we redo limiter, you'll see it took that down. So there won't be any more of those really big spikes. So what I'd often do is I'm a bit more nitpicky about how I sound in solo shows. So I'll often listen back to it since it's so short, and I'll personally edit out any gaps or false starts of myself before I send it to my VA to just do the extra editing. For any interviews, I don't have her edit anything unless it was super awkward or like a dog started barking in the background and we just like take that part out. But yeah, so that is essentially it. And what I will do is I'll save this as a file. So you can say save project as, and this gives you a warning. Hey, it's only going to be saved as an Audacity project. So anything that is AUP is just an Audacity file, but that's not something that anyone else can work with. So what we would need to do is then export the audio as MP3 or as a WAV file. For some reason, my MP3 thing doesn't work here, so I always export it as a WAV, and then I send it to my VA. So I hope that this was fun to see a little bit behind the scenes of how that I work. And you will be seeing this episode coming out live on February 6, 2018. I hope you enjoy it. Please post any questions that you have, and you can see all the episodes of this podcast if you're not already on my website at copythatpops.com/podcast. And that'll show you all of them, no matter what time you hear about this video and about the podcast. All right. Thanks so much for watching.